There are two credit cards on the market that I think are literally the single best cashback credit cards, and not a single big finance YouTuber is talking about them. They're absolutely loaded with some of the biggest cashback categories on people's biggest spending categories. And these are the two AAA credit cards. Now, before you click away, don't worry, you don't have to be part of AAA to get these credit cards. And instead of taking these two different cards and breaking them down individually, I'm just gonna put them into the same video because they're very, very similar, but they're tailored to slightly different people. Also, make sure you like and subscribe so I can feed my dog. So to get this credit card, like I said, you don't have to be a AAA member. All you have to do is have a good enough credit score, and it's recommended that you have a credit score of at least 670 or higher when applying for this credit card, so at least good credit. And from what I've seen, they give people that get approved for this credit card a pretty healthy credit limit, which is a good thing because this is a credit card that you can use as your only credit card. So most likely you're going to be putting a lot of purchases on these credit cards. For the annual fee category, these are 0 annual fee credit cards, so I'm going to give them both 5 out of 5 stars. So let's move on to something a little bit more interesting, which is going to be the sign-up bonus. For some reason, this credit card only pops up in some people's location, so there's a good chance if you go to AAA's website, you're not going to see these two credit cards. But it's super easy to get around this. All you have to do is enter in a zip code where you can get this credit card. One zip code that does work and you can use is 10001. So just enter that in when it asks you for your zip code, and then you're going to be able to apply for these credit cards. So for the sign-up bonus on both of these credit cards, you're going to get $100 in statement credit when you spend $1,000 within the first 90 days. But only $100 as a sign-up bonus is a little bit low for cashback credit cards. But considering the rewards you're going to be earning with this credit card, I think it's still a positive that they at least give you a sign-up bonus at all. But for the sign-up bonus category, I'm gonna have to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Let's move on to our next category, which is gonna be the statement credits and benefits. You would assume with a AAA credit card they'd give you roadside dispatch, but they actually don't, which I think is kind of funny because a lot of other credit cards do. But it makes sense if you think about it, because if AAA gave you roadside assistance on their credit card, there would be no reason to sign up for AAA itself. You would just get their credit card. But this is a Visa signature card, and even though you're not gonna find any benefits on the website, because it's a Visa signature card, it comes with a lot of the benefits and travel protections that you will get with a Visa signature card. You're gonna get a lot of travel and then emergency services, as well as the Visa Concierge line. And with this line, you can call people and they can set up reservations for you or order flowers. Pretty much anything that you want, they'll set up for you. And a lot of times they'll have limited time rewards with their credit card. So right now you'll get 3% cash back on any of your cruises booked with Carnival Cruise, and then an additional 1% back on Hertz rental cars. But by the time this video out, those are probably already going to be expired and new rewards will be on there. So for the benefits, I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's not bad, but I would like to see some 0 introductory APR period, but you are still getting all those Visa signature benefits. And you're also getting 0 foreign transaction fee on both of these credit cards, which is really something that you're going to want to look for if you're traveling. But let's move on to the category that we're all really here for, which is the rewards, and really why this credit card is so good and so underrated. So let's start with the Daily Advantage credit card. This is going to give you 5% back on all your grocery store purchases, 3% back on all your gas stations and then electric vehicle charging, 3% back at wholesale clubs, streaming services, pharmacies, and purchases at AAA. And then 1% back on everything else. So this covers pretty much every single one of your biggest spending categories except for travel, but don't worry, the other card's gonna cover that. And what I love about this card, and I actually haven't seen a single person talk about it, is that 3% back on wholesale clubs is gonna work at Costco. And a lot of America shops at Costco, me included, to save money on their food and their gas. And this credit card is gonna work inside of Costco. So you're gonna be getting 3% back on all your Costco purchases, which is crazy because this is more than even their own store credit card gives you. With the Costco Visa credit card, you're only gonna get 2% back inside their stores. One thing to keep in mind is that you're only gonna be earning 5% and 3% back on all those categories up to the first $10,000. So this is definitely a super solid credit card. And in my opinion, way better than the Saver One credit card. Everyone's talking about the Saver One credit card, how it gives you like 3% back on groceries. But this card is going to give you 5% back. So it's already better than the Saver One and the Costco card in my opinion. Now let's move on to the Travel Advantage Visa, which is just as good and in my opinion could be even better. So the rewards category with this, you're going to get 5% back on gas station and EV charging. And this is a Visa credit card, so it's going to work with Costco's gas station. And just like the other card, it's going to give you even more cash back than Costco's own credit card does. Because Costco's gas card gives you 4% back on gas, but this one's going to give you 5% back on gas. And I think this is one of the first credit cards to have electric vehicle charging, and then the other credit cards kind of started coming onto that. For the 3% back categories, you're going to get 3% back on travel, restaurants, grocery stores, and purchases at AAA, and then 1% back on everything else. So for this card, you're capped at $7,000 for your 5% gas and EV charging category. But as far as I know, that 3% category for your travel, restaurants, and grocery store purchases is still uncapped. So you can earn as much 3% cash back as you want. So when you compare these two different credit cards, they're pretty much the same up to this point. They have all the same benefits, the same sign-up bonus, and almost the same rewards, but they differ a little bit. With the Daily Advantage, you're going to get 5% back on grocery stores, while the Travel Advantage is going to give you 5% back on gas. Now, both of those credit cards still have each other's categories, but you're only going to be earning 3%. But the Daily Advantage has 3 categories the Travel Advantage doesn't have, and then the Travel Advantage has 2 categories the Daily Advantage doesn't have. So with the daily advantage, you're going to get that 3% back on wholesale clubs like Costco. But with the travel advantage, you're going to get 3% back on travel, obviously, and then restaurants too. I think the daily advantage is going to make more sense for you if you're spending a lot more on groceries, but it does lack travel and restaurants. While the travel advantage credit card is going to make more sense if you're spending more money on gas, then you also spend money on travel and then dining inside of restaurants and fast food places. And it's really just a toss-up of what you spend more money on. But the great thing is you can go to AAA's website and they have a really nice expense calculator where you put in all your expenses for the different categories, and then it's going to tell you how much cash back you're going to earn with the different credit cards every year. So if you're unsure what to get, just put in your expenses and then it'll decide for you. So for the rewards category, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars. I was shocked when I discovered these credit cards for myself. I've never seen a cashback credit card that gives you rewards as good as this one. And you can book it through travel through AAA, but it's just going to make more sense to get cash back because it's going to redeem at 1 cent per point no matter what. So you can have it redeemed as a statement credit or get it direct deposited into your bank account. So for the redemption option, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. So some of the pros with this credit card is you're getting really good cash back on some really high spend categories. Plus you're getting all the benefits that come with having a Visa signature card, and you're getting this all for 0 annual fee. Now some of the cons with this credit card is it does have pretty high APR. You can get up to 33.24%, but usually I don't even mention the APRs that come with a credit card because you should never be carrying over a balance because that's just going to negate all the rewards that you're earning with the credit card. And another con is that $100 sign-up bonus isn't quite as high as you're going to see from some other credit cards. But overall, I think these credit cards are perfect for anyone that's on Team Cashback. Even if you don't want to use these credit cards as a one-card setup, they beat out every single other credit card for the 5% back on gas and then the 5% back on groceries, and also the wholesale 3% back too. Because you can get 5% back on a card like the Citi Custom Cash, but it's not going to be a Visa, so it's not going to work with Costco gas. So overall with these credit cards, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars. And maybe I shouldn't because there's still a couple things lacking, but I just think the rewards are so good with these credit cards that it's a must-have in anyone that's on Team Cashback. I do want to make one correction here, and that is that you are actually limited to only one of these cards per person. There is a way to get 2 of these, and that's going to be if you have a spouse and then you're added as an authorized user. If you're not sold on these credit cards yet, you can go check out my breakdown of all the other best one-card setups, and let me know if any of you guys actually have this credit card because I don't think I've come across with someone that has it.